Y'all ready to jump in? Thanks so much for coming in today. We really appreciate you guys so much. We've got some really cool information I want to share with you. What's going on? I want to start talking about some new things happening in the mortgage world. So Sharon and I are going to kind of jump in on this one and tag team it a little bit. You guys heard about VantageScore yet?
Yes.
Okay, VantageScore is the alter ego for FICO. FICO has been the only player for a very long time. It's been pretty much a monopoly. And now we have VantageScore that's coming in. We're seeing so like Sharon is gonna they're moving over into VantageScore, and it has some real advantages for us, especially here in Georgia. So it's first of all, it's going to score more people. So it's gonna have more people will qualify with VantageScore. It also tends for home buyers. It gives them a bump because it's still based on the same 300 to 850 score range. But we're seeing where borrowers have a little bit of a bump on the buy side kind of thing, because the score range is the same on FICO as it is on VantageScore. They also consider alternative data, which means that with FICO, it doesn't necessarily count things like, help me out here a little bit.
It's not gonna count medical collections. How many people's got all the medical collections? I see it all the time. So it's gonna bypass those.
That's all, you can raise your hand. We all have medical issues.
Yeah, you always have that file bill or something the insurance company didn't pay. And then if you don't know it, you didn't get an invoice, and they'll put on your credit report. So that's how that works. So we're not gonna even look at those anymore. They're not gonna be on the report. There's gonna be a key to each trade line to get your score higher. It's going to be able to explain to you exactly what you need to do to get that score to a higher level, so you can you can have a better rate. It's it's elementary. It's easy to read. Collections, people buy, sell, put collections back on the credit report. They're not going to be doing that no more, because it hits that algorithm, that collection every time they report it. It hits that algorithm, and it causes the rates your scores to be lower. So I think it's a game changer. I really do. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac have already approved it. So we're just waiting for an implementation date. I've got a webinar on the 13th. So I'll share with y'all email everything that I've got from this elementary to tell you really what it is. Al and I came across the PowerPoint, 29 pages. But Lord Jesus, you couldn't read that. It was terrible. You had to be, I don't even know. I was like, what are they talking about? So
You gotta be a physicist, being able to.
basically.
Yeah.
So we sort of condensed what we read in 8-9 pages.
Yeah, exactly. But the other thing that we wanted to kind of talk about was how you can help your clients improve their scores. Because on here, how FICO rates a borrower versus how VantageScore does it is a little bit different. On here, the number one factor is pay your damn bills. Like, if I'm just being straight up, right? Like you pay your bills on time, that's 40% of your score. So if they just have a good solid payment history, that's going to really help them a lot, right? After that, utilization. That was pretty good, but like how much credit versus how much debt are you carrying? That kind of stuff. Credit age and mix, meaning do you have a wide mix, a wide range? It's okay to have student loans, have car loans, have home loans, those kind of things. They like to see a mix. And then, like how much you owe, account balances, are those being paid down, those kind of things. So like the whole idea here, and one of the things that we like about this is this looks like more borrowers are gonna want to apply or qualify. But the other kicker here is, for a lot of borrowers, they're going to get a higher score. And when you get a higher score, what does that do to your interest rates? Now, that's the thing, right? I can't change interest rates, right? We definitely want to see interest rates go lower, and we are seeing them soften a little bit, which we really do appreciate. However, if scoring through here drops somebody 15, 20 points, and that gives them a 10th lower interest rate over 30 years, we're talking about tens of thousands of dollars in difference to them. So we really like this. You're going to see more and more of this coming out. it is gonna be the lender's choice what they do. Now, as soon as we can put it in place, we definitely are. But make sure you're asking around that kind of stuff, because this is really important. And I think that this is one of those that equates to bottom line savings for our buyers. And I think it's really important that we have that. Does that make sense? Yes, Whitney? Did you have anything else you wanted to throw in there on that?
I want to ask a question. So.
Yeah.
Will you know in advance which one that the lender is using?
If you ask the lender, they'll tell you, but
Okay.
they're not required to disclose it, but if you ask, they'll tell you,
Okay,
kind of thing.
I'm gonna tell you because I'm gonna use that.
okay.
I'm going to say, well, I'm doing the Vantage because it's just so much more beneficial to the borrowers. You're gonna be able to close more loans.
Okay.
I think when you address the borrower, you might want to let them know that the reason why you use Vantage because it gives them better price.
Now, what-
Because people don't know what Vantage is if you just, I mean, if I was a regular buyer, I wouldn't know, have any clue what you're talking about.
Well, a lot of times buyers, when they get pre-approved, what they do is they said, do whatever it is for a better rate, so advantages are definitely gonna be the way to go because they're gonna do away with a lot of things that cause that rate to be bad or that credit score not to be as good. Okay.
Well, one of the things that we want to kind of point out for your borrower kind of thing is, with it, you also get this thing, called a reason code. So,
Summary source date.
well, like if you get, anytime that's the consumer pulls their credit, this is gonna give them 5 different items and reason codes and things they can do to improve their score. They're gonna tell them, look, if you'll go do this and do this and do this, like right now, most of the time you just get a credit report, it's just a report. Now you get, if you get, I'm sorry, I just stepped on you. Step on your toes, you know that's serious. She didn't wince or anything. You're a tough woman.
Yeah.
All right. But they're gonna give you at least 5 reason codes on what you can do to improve your credit. That's whether you are approved or not approved. They're gonna go in and say, hey, do this and this and this, because again, the more things that we can do to help to help raise credit scores, the better off it is for our borrower. So this is also something I find to be way more interactive that I really do like.
I like it a
Yeah.
lot.
And then the fact that it doesn't do anything with the medical billing, that kind of stuff, because there is a lot of that kind of, they slide in on kind of thing, because sometimes it'll be a medical billing, but then it goes to collections and then collections listed separate. And so that kind of stuff is not going to show up here.
Yeah,
So
well,
what happens with the collection too, they don't tell you what collection it is, so lender, if they're not familiar with the collection entity or call them, figure out what it is, that they can exempt it.
So even though they were saying that the laws that they were gonna include medical bill, but on Vantage, they're not.
They're not
That
going
the
to.
law is not.
From my
Separate.
understanding, there's not gonna do that. Like I said, I've got a webinar, educational webinar on the 13th, which is what, Thursday? And then once I get done with that and I can actually pull some information from that, I'll email it to y'all.
Thank
But we're excited about this thing coming out.
Looking at implementing this.
I don't know.
Okay.
That's a question we'll have for the 13th, because everybody's asking the same question, because everybody wants to use it.
Right.
All right.
She's got a question.
So when you pull the credit reports, are you pulling both from Equifax
Mhm.
and also?
All
It still pulls all 3.
But it just limit some stuff that is,
Now, the
Yeah.
cost, would the borrower pay just that one cost? Or?
It's still the same.
It's not, nothing's gonna change except the algorithm, basically, in how they're looking at things and how they're scoring it.
Yeah. I mean, we're not trying to throw a lot of shade at FICO, but FICO's been around. They've been a monopoly for a long, long time. And if I can do anything that's going to help more people qualify to own homes or help to have higher scores, I definitely want to take advantage of that.
Crazy, did I read where FICO, Experian, and TransUnion help design this?
Yeah, they're all into it. So yeah. Yep. But we've only had one player in the game for a long time. So
Exactly.
it's nice to have something,
is that
something else
going
going
mom
on.
and dad, which one's easier?
All righty. All right, let's kind of, thank you, Sharon. Appreciate it. We want to talk about what's kind of happening in our market. You guys see anything going on in our market? How you guys feeling right now?
Fires, if you're working with fires.
Your goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is, but let's talk about what we're seeing. Like, let's look at the actual numbers here. So right now, what's going on with number of homes for sale? Right? We're at the highest point we've had in 6 years. on the number of homes for sale. So is this good or bad? Well, it depends, right? You can say that, but like our sellers may not be loving this fact, but the bottom line is what happens bad. But what the real kicker here though is that, I mean, y'all remember summer 21 and 22, what were we begging for?
More homes.
I need more, I ain't got no listings, I ain't got no properties, right? Yeah.
Is this nationwide or like Atlanta specific? Or
But
where
we're
specific?
gonna look at both. Right now, this is national, but honestly, we're really mimicking national to a large degree right now. So overall, you know, we have a lot more inventory going on. And so this is our new listings in Georgia MLS. They're up 12%, and FMLS, they're up 6%. So we had been running double digits on both. Some we've been running 20 and 30% up. Then the amount of new listings is actually tapering down. Total active listings in Georgia MLS, we have 27% more listings than we had last year. In FMLS, almost 35% more listings. So again, this mimics the national data that we are seeing. So we have basically a third more listings this time of year than we had last year. So residential real estate is based on supply versus demand. What is going on with supply? It's been increasing supply. We have more supply. Now, what's been happening with demand? No, it's been flat. It has been like glass, right? So it's not that it's gone down, but it's not that it's gone up. It is just kind of sitting there hovering, right? So we are seeing that, but you can kind of see like here in, oh, come on. My thing is messing up, sorry. There we go. In FMLS, this is what's happened with inventory over the last 5 years. And so you can see that we've been on a pretty steady course of improving our inventory long term. Now we are sitting at 5 months of standing inventory in Georgia MLS, 5.1 months of standing inventory in FMLS. How many months of inventory do we need to have a balanced market? 6. We need 6 months of inventory to have a balanced market. But of this 5 months that we're sitting on, you think it's that way across all price points?
No.
Like location still really, really does matter, right? Because what's $600,000 or $700,000 going to get you in Sandy Springs? That's a starter home, right? How about in Griffin? Oh yeah, everything large, right? Yeah, that's it. The location really does matter. And so we're seeing overall, if you look at inventory levels over 700,000 overall, we have a lot more inventory. We've got like 6, 7, 8 months of inventory in some places on over 700. From like that 300 to 700 up to 700,000, that market is much more flat. But I mean, if you guys are looking for homes under 200, what do you think that inventory looks like?
Scary.
See, it's not the same, right? That's what I'm saying is that we are, even though you look at 5 months, it's not 5 months for all of our price points, right? So for our starter homes, our low level under 300, we don't have 5 months of inventory. We have more than 5 months on the higher price points. Yes, sir.
They're grouping in
That's just everybody.
condos, townhomes, everything.
Yep, all that. Yep. So but overall, we are seeing more inventory, right? That's what's going on. We're sitting on more, and honestly, this is something that we've wanted. We've been begging for inventory. So I don't want to be like a negative Nelly about it by any means. But now, are our sellers loving that?
Nope.
No, right? Because what's happened with our days on market? Increased drastically. In Georgia MLS, it's up to 70 days. I mean, like if you look at where we've been versus where we are, our days on market have doubled. FMLS, we're at 43 days. Georgia MLS, we're at 70 days on the market. Now, what about how does that impact our seller expectations right now?
They want more money than they really want.
Well, but then, I mean, and you gotta understand from their point of view, right? For the last 5 years, what has days on market done?
It's going up.
It's been really tight, right? And now all of a sudden it's up more. When their home sits on the market, who do they blame? They blame us. But if we're going in and not explaining what's happening in the market, they're going to blame you. But when you go in and you say, look, 70 days on market is our average marketing time right now, right? That's almost 2.5 months, right? We're used to sellers thinking 2.5 weeks, right? So part of this comes with, are we setting clear expectations with our clients? If not, you're shooting yourself in the foot, because this is going to be a challenge for us moving forward. We have more inventory right now. So you see the total days on market, you know, where we're really at. So overall, we're right here in the middle. We're not as bad as we've been in past years, and we're worse off than we've been in some of the recent years. But this is still not bad. We're moving into this range that is normal. But anytime that we move in a market, what does everybody do? Anytime the market shifts, wiggles a little bit. Yes, yeah, say it, woman. Everybody loses their mind, like, right? Right, so we start just kind of nutting up. So like, let's look at total inventory. So like, if you look at total inventory right now for the state of Georgia, total inventory is up 35% this year versus last year. Sounds scary. However, what's that inventory level compared to where we were pre-COVID? We're still down 8%. We have 8% less listings than we had at this same time before COVID. Now, y'all remember what the market was pre-COVID? Was it a seller's market pre-COVID? Was it a buyer's market? I mean, it was a seller's market pre-COVID. And we have less inventory than we had now. Y'all follow me? So yes, there's been a pretty intense shift in inventory this year. We're not there yet. We're going to a normal market where the number of buyers and sellers match up much more closely. But that is not a reason why we need to run around like our pants are on fire. Y'all with me? Seriously, like this is important. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So now the interesting thing is, because we've seen this big jump in inventory all year long, of late, what's happening to new listings now? They're tapering off. They're tapering off much more. Sellers are starting to realize that optimistic pricing is not a good thing. And so the number of properties we have coming on the market is actually tapering down. And so as we have less new listings coming on, what do you think that's going to do? It's going to level out. It's going to, you know, like supply versus demand. Yeah, what you got, Rich?
Sorry, I want to jump in, throw things off. I don't know if we're going to get to this or something, but what I've noticed too, here's the other big problem is sellers are listing really high when they're sitting on market for a while. They don't drop the price until it's sold. They pull it off market and they rent it, and so it doesn't actually get sold.
To follow the market and rent it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we are seeing some things on, but we're going to talk a lot more about that. So I'm definitely going to jump into that some more here. But see, here's the kicker, is that our dynamics have shifted. Not that the market's crashing, but we have more sellers than we have buyers on the market right this minute. Y'all with me? Because, you know, that is equated into overall sales. Closed sales is down 4% in Georgia MLS, 20 in FMLS. Pending sales is down about 10 and 20% right there. So overall sales is not where it has been, right? And so all this is what's leading us into that value proposition, what we're really talking about with our sellers. So fewer buyers means less competition. When we saw prices jump up, like 21, 22, that kind of stuff, those big double-digit increases, we had a lot of competition. Now we don't have, I mean, we didn't have as much. We had more buyer competition. Now we have more seller competition, and that's kind of leading us on, right? So what we are seeing are properties taking a lot of price cuts right now. We have more properties taking a price cut now than we've seen in, well, last 10 years. I mean, ever since the market crash in 2007, 2008. Right now in Atlanta, 30% of our listings have a price reduction. Go ahead.
In terms of the image of a buyer, when you see a home that's listed.
Yep.
It's, you know, I'm about to have a listing. I've had one in a while, so I'm very excited. But should you go ahead and prepare your sellers for the lower end of the sale rather than the high end?
Well, what we're seeing is that optimistic pricing shoots you in the foot, right? Because for our sellers, they all think, well, I just want to start out here and throw out this really high price. But as soon as they throw out that high price, that becomes the price in their mind. Right? And then at that point, trying to get them change off that, that's the real kick. And so optimistic pricing is, like it's hurting us right now. If you're not honest with your sellers on the very beginning about and pulling really good comparative market analysis and equity assessments and saying, this is what buyers are willing to spend for similar homes to yours. And so if we list 10% higher, we're only going to be getting about 30% of the market that's even going to consider it. People, like right now, our buyers have the opportunity to be very selective, and they are being very selective. And so if you're like, well, let's just try it, understand that you're not going to be getting offers here. There was a point several years ago, right? Am I going to get 5 offers or am I going to get 10 offers on my property? Is that the market that we're in right now? No, first of all, we only need 1, but we got to be realistic about it. And so right now we're seeing a lot of price reductions going on right now. Yeah,
I would think about that. It's depending on where the area is though. As far as because I listed a house around the corner and it was listed pretty competitive and it went under contract the same night.
no, we're seeing that, and you're exactly right. You actually bring up a really good point. The good houses in good areas that come out with the right price, are those done quick? Even in this market? Yes. So like what's happening is we are in a shift, right? We're in a balancing act right now. We're having more inventory on the sell side. The days of the seller saying, I want to sell this as is. I only want to accept cash. And, I plan on being under contract within 2 weeks. That's not realistic. And we still have sellers who have this expectation of, well, I'm going to bless you by letting you buy this home for $50,000 over price. And that's not the market we're in. Right. And so, and I get it. We have to also understand what's, like the expectations of our sellers. What we've had over 55% price appreciation over the last 5 years in Georgia. So the sellers kind of feel like my home appreciates in about 10% a year. That's what it's been doing for the last 5 years. Is that what we're seeing happen now? No. But that's why I'm not trying to make it depressing or anything like that, but you need to know what's really going on in the market. We have to be the voice of reason, because if you don't explain this to the sellers, then, we used to have this old adage in real estate. A lot of people forgot, right? The early bird gets the worm, but the second realtor sells the house. We're seeing that happen right now. We're seeing where, they don't listen to you, or we're not, maybe aggressive is the wrong word, but we're not firm on price. And then the house doesn't sell, and then they go and they relist it, and now they list it with somebody else at the price you originally recommended, right? So we have to understand what's going on. Yeah.
That and then if their home is a lot of deferred maintenance, but they're trying to list it for top dollar, even if they actually get somebody, all this stuff's going to be exposed. And I keep seeing houses come off market. I had to do it too. So it's almost better if they're the type of deferred maintenance to have it, tune it up a little bit, fix some of the stuff like for real, because otherwise it's just going to fall off market and then they're super screwed trying to go somebody else again.
Yeah, because but what we're seeing is right now we're having a much more price cut. So are the sellers coming to realize this? If you'll be honest with them up front, they may not like it, but it's going to be a much easier place. You also like I would not take an overpriced listing without a plan to get you where you need to be. Otherwise, they're just going to blame you. Like, this is the marketplace where we're in right now. So overall, okay, home price growth is decelerating. Please, this is a headline out there that is scary to folks, because if you look, it's not that that we're seeing prices lose money, homes lose value. They're just not gaining value at the same rate as they used to. Y'all follow me?
Yes.
Yeah, so we're going to be in that 1 to 2% probably appreciation range this year. We're going to end up about there. So far through the year, we're sitting at about 3.5% year to date so far. We're probably going to be real flat. So you're going to have a couple of months up, some months down, but overall, we're probably going to be coming in 1 to 2% property value appreciation. However, what's the headline? Home price growth is decelerating. it doesn't mean the prices are, that the homes are worth less today than they were last year. It means that they're not gaining as much value as they were, right? So again, we're going into this kind of balancing act about what's going on. So overall, sales price in Georgia MLS up 0.2, FMLS up 0.2. So overall, pretty flat.
Down.
Oh, down 0.2 and up 0.2. I'm sorry, but 0.2 of 1% is pretty flat, right? I mean, like that's what we're seeing kind of going on, and so we are seeing prices flat. But why? Inventory's up. Transactions are still pretty flat. So when that goes on, that's what we're really seeing. Now, overall, we're seeing some markets that are seeing price reductions. You will see this on the national level a lot right now. And the thing is that you have probably 4 or 5 markets in the US that when those markets move, they talk about it. Now, what's happening in Florida, Texas, California, what's happening in those pricing in those markets? Down. So that sways the whole nation on these kind of things. But we aren't necessarily seeing that here in Georgia, right? We're seeing flat is really kind of what we're seeing. We're not seeing appreciation. We're not seeing depreciation. It's just kind of somewhere in that 1% to 2% range on there. So what do you think we ought to be expecting? Well, first thing is home appreciation is going to be tepid, right? We need to be very honest and straightforward with our clients. We're just not, like the days of double-digit price growth, that's not here. And that's not now. And why? Because we have a lot more inventory on here. You with me? All right. Overall, this is kind of what everyone is looking at nationwide kind of thing. The average is 1.9%, Fannie, Freddie, all that kind of stuff. Everybody's got their own idea of what's really going on. These are national numbers again. Georgia tends to trend slightly higher than the nation. So I know we're cutting it, right? All right. But inflation and debt, that's holding on to our mortgage rates. Now we saw some easing on mortgage rates this past week. There's a lot of talk about the Fed lowering the federal funds rate. Will that help interest rates? No one said anything.
Yes.
Maybe. Like last time the Fed lowered the federal funds rate, what happened to interest rates? They went up. No, they went up. They dropped the federal funds rate, interest rates went up. You have to understand that that 30-year mortgage rates follow the 10-year treasury. And the 10-year, like if you lay the 10-year treasury and 30-year mortgage rates out, they follow each other. When one goes up, the other one goes up, kind of thing. And so, but what affects the 10-year treasury? Inflation, how much debt the nation is carrying. Federal funds rate is a factor in there, but the overall feeling of the markets, what's happening with the tariffs, all these are factors that are going to affect our mortgage rates. The other thing is that the 10-year treasury and the markets, they don't like turmoil. They don't like disruption. We have, and I'm not being political, but we have a administration that likes turmoil. Markets don't. We're just seeing where I'm looking at it. All these are factors where I don't see interest rates moving very much. I mean, I think that we're going to slowly soften over the course of the year and through next year. But I would not be looking for, hey, we're going to be under 5. Hey, we're going to be under, I don't think we're going to be under 6 this year. I mean, I think we'll continue to be in the 6 to 6.5 range throughout the course of the year. It's going to move into that range. But that's kind of, and if you look at all the other big brains out there, they're kind of right there with me on this. So I think we need to be clear about our expectations of what's going on with interest rates. Now, for the last couple of weeks, interest rates have been looking better, but you're going to see that, right? You look at it on the scale, it looks like this kind of going through, but it kind of works out into a trend. So we are going to see interest rates tapering down. We are seeing inflation kind of soften. Those numbers actually come out today, Thursday, so we'll see where it's at right now. But we're just not looking at a ton of movement on interest rates. Is that good or bad?
Yeah.
Well, what I mean by that is like some folks are like, well, nobody's going to buy at 6.5. Is that true? No. Look, do y'all remember when the market, when the rates went from 3 to 5? Everyone lost their minds, right? 5%. Who's gonna buy a house at 5%? This is ridiculous. Right? And then they went to 6. Then they went to 7. And then they went to 8. Right? And then they started kind of working and tapering their way back off, right? And at one point, we had so many people saying, well, there's no way that this is not realistic. If you look at where our interest rates are compared to like historic interest rates, right? And y'all buy back in the day?
Yes.
I know I did. Like we had like an 11% interest rate. My parents were like at 15 or something. And they were like thankful. They're like, oh, we're so glad we got a 15% interest rate, right? So like the thing is that like life happens. And we have to get that. And the reason I bring this up is because I see where we as an industry get bummed out. It's very easy to be like, well, interest rates are 6.5. I don't see a lot of movement going on. Look, if I got twins on the way, do I need to buy a house?
Yeah.
If I'm getting a divorce, right? If my kids are moving away, going to college, do I need to sell and get rid of this giant house? Like life happens. Do not let yourself don't talk yourself into, well, sales are flat and interest rates aren't really moving anywhere and inflation. Like you can decide that, you know what, this is awful time to be in business. Is it a terrible time to be in business? No. By the way, what are we seeing happen with compensation? Compensation is going up. I know that sounds crazy, but like, do they need us more than ever?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So, part of these things are just like the reality of what's going on. So, Rich, you had something you wanted to?
You may not know offhand, but I always wondered about, like, when you hear about those old interest rates, when those were skyrocketing, were the prices of houses like inversely related back then? Were they dropping? Is that how people were paying that much? Because they were like, well, at least the price.
No.
Kind of like when HOA dues were
No.
$1,000.
No.
They weren't.
No, they weren't.
Because that's certainly not what's going on here.
Yeah. We were flattening, yeah, absolutely. All right.
But what was the rate before the pandemic? Do you remember what the interest rate was, Ronnie?
That we were in the 6s and 5s in there kind of thing. So, but all in all, this is kind of like I see us being somewhere in this range moving forward through the rest of the year on interest rate. It will end up being better. It's not going to be like, don't expect an overnight thing. Don't expect a big drop, that kind of stuff. I just don't see it coming. So I'd much rather you be realistic with your clients and me be realistic with you than to paint some kind of rosy picture that's not based on any reality, what's really going on out there. All right, sales probably going to mean pretty flat. All right. I mean, it's not going to be huge. It's not going to be terrible. Pretty flat. What does that mean? Is that good or bad?
This business still happening.
We sell 11,000 houses a day. Right? Don't tell me that you can't possibly get some sales. I mean, we sell 11,000 houses a day. Right? Now, if you tell yourself the market's flat, you tell yourself there's no point, what's going to happen to your business?
Go ahead.
It's going to go down. It is vitally important, right? Exactly. Yeah, you're going to flatten it. That kind of stuff. Right. So now, overall inventory on newly built homes and new home sales looking to be pretty flat on that. So let's talk about what is the big question that everyone's talking about right now. And it's just started to pop up again. Have you guys started to hear this?
Oh, my goodness.
Oh yeah, is the market gonna crash? When's it gonna crash? They're like standing over, they're licking their lip, like when's it gonna happen, right? So let's talk, but I think that rather than just be like, no, let's talk about why it could or why it couldn't, right? So first thing I want to kind of talk about is 40% of homes in the United States are debt-free, are paid off. There's only a mortgage on 60% of the homes. So for this 40% here, they care about interest rates? No. Like the 40% of people have like no mortgage, right? How about when the market crashed in 2007? Was that the same number?
Everybody at work.
No, 25%, right? So big change in mortgage-free homeowners, right? How many sellers are at risk of selling for a loss right now? Now in Georgia, it's 4%, meaning 96% of average American homeowners,
Plenty of equity.
they're sitting on equity. Are they, right?
Yep.
So, like, if they had to sell right now, would they lose money?
Nope.
See, it's really hard to say we're gonna have a market crash when 96% of our people
Plenty of-
have plenty of equity built into it, right? Now, come on. Gonna make me do the dance again, isn't it? We're gonna see if it works. Oh, come on. Are you awake? Oh,
Like two clips.
oh, it's too good. All right. All right. Now, this is mortgages with a low, with our low delinquency rate. So this is how many mortgages are delinquent? Now, has it gone up a little bit? Yeah, but then it went back down. Right? And so, like, properties that are in serious delinquency, even that is really, look where we have been, look at where we are now. Right? Like, it's a different fix. No.
Yeah.
Yep.
Can I ask you a question about that with the foreclosures?
Yep.
When we say an FHA loan is insured, and then when a person going into foreclosure, so are they guaranteed to get that money at closing, or what happens?
Oh,
with
they
the
don't
money?
get nothing. No.
That's in the
If
bank.
you get foreclosed on,
That's in the bank.
that's just insurance for the bank.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all that really is right
But
there.
then when they sell it again, then the bank get paid again, so is it like double?
Well,
dipping or
they get paid for, like that insurance, that goes to pay off the existing note. And they are gonna factor in how much is owed and that kind of stuff. But on foreclosure, there's never anything left over. The banks aren't making money on foreclosure, they aren't, kind of thing.
Well, similar to what she said, I have a friend who wanted to list her property and she wasn't really gonna make anything off of it. And she said that she was gonna request a payout at closing. So what, they just asked for, like, how does that work?
Well, most of the
I
time,
haven't
Paid off.
But payoff,
Yeah,
payoff.
well, they're payoff, but more than likely they're asking for a short sale, but you have to prove that you have the rights for a short sale. To do a short sale, meaning that you're gonna sell for less than what is owed on the mortgage. So this is what's going on with our foreclosure activity over for the first half of the year. And so, like, when it was 65 and 164, we had foreclosure moratoriums and eviction moratoriums, all that kind of stuff going on. And so it has gone up from 177,000 to 187,000. But look where it has been. Right? We have a lot of folks in the past we had a lot more foreclosures than we have right now. But as soon as because what they do is they don't look at the historical data. They look from here to here. And they say, man, foreclosures are up. So are they up?
More.
Depends on what you-
Right.
Yep.
It's a lot.
No.
It's a lot. That's very little.
Like this market right now.
This is like.
No, but doing it again.
Want me to tap it?
Maybe.
I know.
There we go.
With
All right.
hands on. Jeez.
This is the percentage of homes that have filed for foreclosure by state. In Georgia, 0.12, 0.1%. So, like, is this an epidemic?
No.
Are we worried about this whole, but like all these folks who are sitting in the sidelines, like,
Ooh,
crash is coming. This is what, like,
phone ringing.
oh yeah, I'm just sitting there. They're just sitting there licking their lips. Right? That's it.
It's coming.
And horns.
And like you said, that's only 60% of the homes.
Yeah, there's only a mortgage even on 60% of the homes out here. But
Yeah.
in Georgia, 0.12, 0.1%. So are we real worried about this big foreclosure thing going on? I'm not. I don't see that happening going at all. Now, our wild card in here still is interest rates, right?
Yeah.
If we do see a shift in interest rates, as interest rates keep lowering, what are we gonna see happening with sales? It's gonna keep increasing, right? So I think we're gonna keep seeing it taper down. We're gonna keep seeing those kind of things going on, but I'm not worried about a market crash and all this kind of stuff going on. I just don't see it. So let's talk about what this really means here for us. Now, for our buyers, do they have more power than they've had in the past?
Yes, a little bit.
Don't go crazy. All right, that's exactly true what's going on. But our buyers have a lot more power. Yeah. Our buyers have a lot more power than they've had the past years, right? I mean, we haven't had a buyer's market since 2012, roughly, kind of thing. It hasn't been a buyer's market since 2012. A lot of folks don't know what to expect. So do the buyers have more muscle to flex right now?
Yes.
Yeah. Does that mean that and we may see more price reductions, but are we seeing crazy drops in value? Are we seeing ridiculous things going on? Are we seeing $100,000? Hey, ask $50,000 off, like that kind of stuff. We aren't seeing that. So yes, the buyers have a lot more negotiation power. We're seeing where like they're kind of running the market right now. But reasonable still wins, right? But we're seeing where the days of our sellers being able to say, you know what, I'm not going to make any repairs. I'm not going to I'm not going to add any closing costs. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. Well, what happens if you do that right now? You're not going to sell your house. That's what's going to happen right now, right? So like right now, it needs to be about communication and education with our buyers and our sellers, right? For our buyers, yes, we have a lot more negotiation power than we've had in the past. For our sellers, you don't have as much. And this is a reality. Optimistic pricing is not your friend, right? We have to be priced competitively, or else no one's going to buy your home. The days of let's just try it at this price are not here for us, kind of thing. So we need to be sharing relevant market information with our buyers and our sellers. We have to keep our buyers realistic, but the buyers, we're moving into a balance / buyer's market depending on price point. Sellers, they have to be realistic on price as well as concessions. All these kind of things. We're seeing where that's what's really going on. You are not going to get top dollar if your property is not in top condition. Right? It's the reality of where we are. You guys with me?
Yeah.
All right. Now, I didn't set this up with Trilletta today. She just happened to be hosting. But new construction is a place I want you to be thinking about and considering, because there is some real advantages right now in the new construction market that I think there's some opportunity to be had out there. So first of all, we're having more inventory in new construction. Now, the builders are very different than our resale sellers. When the builders sit on inventory, what do?
Go on sale.
That's it. Yeah, because they're carrying financial notes and these kind of things on this property. They have to turn this stuff. So the other thing we see kind of going on is that our builders are doing a lot with rates. They're buying down rates. They're offering below market rates. They're building this into the costs about what's really going on. And so you can see that overall, our builders, if you compare the builders versus existing homes, the average interest rate is about 0.5 point to a point lower overall. And with our buyers so sensitive to mortgage rates, is this a good place for us to be looking at for them? Yeah, it really is, right? And then, again, will our buyers move on price? Will our builders move on price? Yes. Now, are they going to move on price on new unbuilt inventory or on standing inventory? Standing inventory. The standing inventory, that's going to be your best bet. Now, there's a couple of things here I do want to point out in dealing with your sellers. Like why do why do builders offer incentives? Because it sells houses. Why do builders buy down interest rates? Because it moves houses. why is it any different for a resale?
Cause they,
Cause it's a resale, it's,
they don't
it's
have the
not
thinking
new.
of the builder.
Well, they don't have the thing, but also I think that a lot of times we, like, we have sellers that will consider this. We have sellers that, like, right now, would I rather see you drop prices or offer to buy down rates, you think?
Offer to buy.
So you buy down rates, you're changing that payment long-term in there, right? And so rather than drop the price 10 grand, put that towards buying down the rates for the buyer on there. Advertise that. I think a lot of us are not thinking, we think resale and then, oh, that's something the builders do. Like the builders do it because it turns houses. And so if like, this is something definitely to be talking about with your sellers, is to bring up the fact of like, you know, when you go to new construction neighborhoods and you're looking at this and they're buying down rates and they're offering incentives, that's the same kind of thing. They're doing that to attract a lot of buyers and to sell a lot of houses.
Alan, when you say, I see a lot of people doing assuming a loan, is that something to market or?
Okay. The question is on assumable loans. Now, I love assumable loans. The challenge with assumable loans, and most of your government loans are assumable. So let's say that you got a 3.5% FHA. You had it for 10 years. So you bought the house for $200,000. Now it's worth $350,000, and that $200,000 mortgage is $100,000 now. So you can let someone assume that mortgage, as long as they qualify, for $100,000. That means they also have to come up with $250,000 in cash.
And then still responsible if they foreclose.
I mean, that's the only problem with assumable loans. Like now,
They were in here for years.
now for those folks, that 40% that don't own a home, could that possibly, I mean, that don't owe a mortgage, could that be an option for them?
Yes.
100%. Those folks are coming with a lot of equity. That could be a really good answer. For our first time buyers, is that going to be a real answer for them? No, they don't have $250,000 to bring into the transaction.
But they can get
So-
a second mortgage.
Well, the challenge is most of your lenders don't want to be in second position. They all want to be in first position because if it does get foreclosed, only the first position makes any kind of recourse, right? Second, so it's really hard to find someone that wants to play second fiddle on an existing mortgage. So it's tough. You know, I do think that there is a small buyer pool that can take advantage of that, and I do like that, but there's just not a lot.
Real quick, going back to the new construction. I don't know if anybody here, I've never dealt with that. I think I've told you that. I've always been scared because it doesn't feel like you can negotiate with them. They have what they're willing to sell for. But what are some tips to actually move and feel like we're doing some good instead of just signing their document?
All right, so some of the things you can do with new construction. First one is go in and ask what their standing inventory is. Those are always going to be the best deals. The other thing about new construction is like old school works with new construction. And what I mean by that is like only about a third of new construction inventory is actually listed in the MLS. So if you want to know what new construction is really out there, you got to go meet the on-site agents. You got to talk to them. When you talk to them, that's when you find out, well, I mean, yeah, we do have a 4.99, but if you don't talk to them, you don't know what are the interest rates they got. They don't know what kind of inventory they have going on. You know, you also learn that like, are you going to use the new construction lender? Yes, you are. Like, just accept that you are, because while you don't have to, if you're going to get any kind of incentives, you're going to get closing costs, and if you're going to protect your buyer's earnest money, then they're going to have to use their lender. So just accept. You're going to use their closing attorney. You're going to take their 210 home warranty. All that is included and is part of it. That doesn't mean it's necessarily bad, but it is part of it. They're not going to want you to walk through with your buyer. So do it the day before. They're not going to want you to do a home inspection. Do it anyway. You know, you're still going to be there through the whole process and kind of help and guide them. You don't have to write the contract.
But can you get the price down or?
No, most of your builders are not moving on price, but they will move on other things, because if they move on that price, then the rest of the homes that they sell, it's going to affect them.
That's right.
But what you said though, is when you talk to them in advance, if there is a house that they're willing to play with, or that they're going to do that they're gonna reduce the price, cause they are reducing prices.
We are seeing
They'll
some
let you
do it,
know in advance.
but they won't do it on
It's
anything that isn't built.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
But that, so,
Oldest thing.
so there's like,
Yeah.
their inventory that's sitting the longest might have some wiggle room, but other than that, where they're.
That's gonna be,
where they're-
well, the other thing is, your on-site people are gonna tell you.
Yeah.
If they wanna move it, right? I mean, it's not like you have to be real, I mean, like, they'll be like, we've gotta move this house. And we're gonna work a deal on that kind of stuff.
I was gonna say, I had a, new construction, it was a spec, and, it was a townhouse, Taylor Morrison was the, builder, and the house was listed for $493, and my buyer got it for $455 and $20,000 closing costs.
Sweet.
So they built, yeah, that's.
When they got a house they need to move, they gonna move because they're paying that mortgage. A lot of times they can't start another project till they clear some stuff out of the books. So, all right. Y'all wanna hear? Y'all, we've talked about a lot of things that may not necessarily feel like good news, right? You wanna know what the good news is? Drum roll. Oh, again? Here we go. And the good news is, pause, wait,
Magic touch, come on
come
now,
on.
come on.
Come on.
I definitely need a new battery. My goodness. All right, we go. Bernie's fire. Yeah,
Alan, you can hit the remote over that.
No.
and now the good news, nothing. Wow. Look at all kinds of stuff now. It's not like, wow, okay, we gotta go easy, okay. More people are using us than ever before. No, but what I mean by that is, like back in the '80s, right? Only about 80% of folks use the real estate professional, right? Right? 94% of people use a real estate professional. That number keeps going down. But we keep hearing, you know, there's an Uber of real estate. There's a this of real estate. There's somebody's going to replace us. We don't need agents anymore. We don't need all this kind of stuff going on. We are needed more now than ever before. Now, part of it is, now, we can complain about the market if we want to. And we do. And we will, yeah. But when sellers can just put a house on the market and have 10 buyers show up and multiple offers, they're like, man, you guys' job is easy. Is that what the market that we're in right now? And so for us as agents, right, there's a real opportunity to truly stand out, provide some amazing value for our buyers, amazing value for our sellers, right? Because they need us. Now we need them 100%, but they need us too. And so this is a really good place for us to be. More people are using us than ever before. So we need to make sure that, one, we take that responsibility seriously. You know, like the days of listing homes with just the basic 4, sign the yard, in the MLS, lockbox, pray, that'll be it. That was all we're doing. But now we really have to truly market our homes to help them get the most money. We're talking about staging. We're talking about, you know, the concessions that we're offering, how the property looks, photography, all these kind of things. We're doing a lot more on the sell side now because we have to. For buyers, we need to be educating them, guiding them through the process. Like, we are needed, but understand they need us too. This is a really good thing for our market. Y'all with me?
Yes.
Okay. So hopefully this thing, oh, you brought me batteries and I didn't put them in. Sorry. We're gonna see if this actually works.
Well, speaking of marketing, can I drop something real quick?
Drop it like it's hot.
I have a listing coming to the market tomorrow. It's 15 acres in Conyers. So if you know anybody in the developers, anybody looking for land, comment. We're starting off with, I'm gonna list it at 470,000. So yeah, and he already has something under contingency right now. So we need this property gone.
What is it zoned for?
Agriculture, but he had a house built on there. So it was a storm in the house. He was supposed to rebuild the house. So it has a slab on there. He just wanted to wash his hands with it and move somewhere else. So
All right, we'll talk about more housing,
Okay.
more opportunities in a minute. I just want to
That was
kind of run
innovation.
through here. No problem. We have Tom Ferry coming up. 2 weeks roughly kind of thing. So who's been to a Tom Ferry thing with us? Like, it is a blast. It really is. It's a very good time. But the other thing here is that you have to be looking at what am I putting into my business? What am I investing on the time that it takes to really grow my business? There is so many amazing, really strong, good ideas. So it's Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. It starts Tuesday at 11 o'clock, runs till about 6 on Tuesday. We have breakfast and lunch coming for you guys every day. You're going to get a book, just like you actually went there. All the main speakers up on the stage, they're going to be doing that. When they jump up and go, we jump up and go, and do the same kind of thing, right? So it's a really fun experience. You will get nuggets that will help you grow your business. You need to be thinking about, am I willing to invest some time? Now, if you want to go to this thing, it's $700 a person to sit in the back. If you want to sit up front where all the uppity people are, it's $1,700 for a ticket. Plus you got to fly there. You got to pay for food. You got to pay for a hotel. All in all, you know, when we've gone to these kind of things, they'll run you $7-8 grand just to go. Or you can come here for free. We'll feed you and you get 6 hours of continuing education each day. So, but to me, the value is in when you invest in your business. We do a lot for everybody else. We will live our kids sitting at the school because we are showing houses. Right, man? Right, man? Them babies sitting at the school. We're showing a house. Sorry, I'm right there too. But what I'm saying is we will neglect ourselves to take care of our clients. You need to invest in your business. There's some really great things going on every single day. It's Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. If I could ever I just changed the battery. So okay, there's Wednesday. We'll see if Thursday catches up. There we go. So please consider coming in. Every day is different. Every day is different content. They will try and sell you coaching. It doesn't matter. You don't have to go through coaching. There's no big deal on that at all. Okay. Now let's talk about something new that is coming that we are super excited about. What?
Where's the location?
Every office.
Every office, okay.
Yep. We're doing it live in every office. All right. Who are my Canva people? Come on, Canva. I love me some Canva, right? All right. We have partnered with a company called Agent Wise Designs. We are getting all new Canva templates for you to be able to use.
For the drum roll.
So we are partnering with Agent Wise Designs. You're going to have a ton of Canva, custom Canva templates that you can go. Depending on what level of Canva you have, that kind of stuff, you can post directly out to social media, that kind of stuff. There's going to be a bunch of training videos if you aren't comfortable with Canva on how to work Canva. They're going to have all of our custom branding built into it already, so you can grab logos and pictures and all this other kind of stuff that you want to do there. They're also going to be doing a training class once a month live for us. In addition to that, you will each keep an eye out for your email. You're each going to get your own login for Agent Wise. So you're going to have a separate login, separate username. This is part of your fees. There is no additional charge. You don't so this is built in to what you're already paying for. Right now, we along with several other brokerages have kind of jumped into the whole Canva thing. And I think at some point Canva is going to rule the world. They just keep growing and expanding, and it really is a pretty cool platform. You can post directly out in the social media. You can make just about anything in Canva. The AI is in it, the whole 9 yards. Everything is really in there. So some of it you'll be able to utilize with a free account. A lot of you will want to upgrade to the Canva Account Pro. We are looking at some different options on that as well. But the whole idea is that you can go in, change your stuff, customize it to you, and you've got some you want to make great looking flyers. You want to make custom branding pieces for you, all that kind of stuff, it's all in here. So be looking for that as soon as we're gonna be doing that. We're gonna have a rollout. We're gonna start trainings. All these kind of things are gonna be coming your way. So please make sure that I know. We see how many of y'all actually open the newsletter, just so you know. There's things like that in here. So please, like, check it, because we're, for me, I want to keep providing value for you guys. So, all right. Here is our top sales folks for the month and by the offices kind of thing. So congratulations to all of our top producers kind of thing. So like here, Carlos. Oh, Letty Hill is here. I don't see Gail, but you know, anyway.
In Fayetteville.
In Fayetteville.
Who we got?
Yep, dude, we got Cassandra, and then we got Rodrigo and Dwayne. None. They don't love us, so it's okay. I'm just being funny. But yeah, we want to kind of jump into you know, like I want to congratulate our top producers. There, we also want to be able to like, I want to keep providing a lot of value like this. By having, you know, these kind of things going on.
Mark Brown.
Oh, I was gonna say, oh.
Oh, girl, cut it out.
Oh, Mark Brown, Mark Brown,
Oh, Mark's here.
Yeah.
Out of Conyers, yeah, Helen, Mark, Edith.
Yeah.
Yep.
I want to say something.
Yep.
That's
I
right.
know a lot of people think real estate is going south and they feel really discouraged, but I spoke with David and I congratulate him. He sold 7 houses in 1 month.
Y'all,
Yeah.
David's
Yeah.
only been in this industry probably 2.5 years,
Yes.
maybe 3.
Yes.
But he didn't really start his business until maybe a year ago.
Yeah.
But because he is actually doing a lot of scheduling and follow-ups and everything else,
Consistency, he said.
consistency.
Yes.
Y'all, 7 is a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's somebody's paycheck for the entire year.
So we can do it.
So y'all can do it. And let me tell you, the success story on him is that he was a mentee when he first came online. Now he's a mentor.
Who was his mentor?
Huh?